Hello, everybody. This is Bob Kingpin Eres, along with my broadcast partner over there, Brian Cano Sr. And everybody, this is a very special playoff edition again of the Arizona Diamondbacks baseball, the D-Backs Weekly Inside the Game podcast. And both Brian and I are proud credentialed media members of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And Brian, this playoff series, the playoffs so far have been awesome for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, no, Bob, you nailed it. I think that after 162 games of baseball, where you kind of go up and down, you're not really you get into the games obviously because they're exciting, but I've noticed that even as a reporter and as a baseball enthusiast, that every pitch in these playoffs with the Brewers and now with the Dodgers has been impactful. I've felt them, and I'm sure that that most Valley fans that are into the game, and maybe even if you're not, are feeling it just like I am, and it's so excited, Bob, because those feelings are very rare. When you have these opportunities to see a team, go from where they were in the spring. You and I talked about it up. We saw the Corbin Carroll. That's when we first met. Corbin Carroll's signing
Right.
when he got his big check, and from that
Yep.
day forward, we've seen this progression that has led up to where they are today, which is 2-0 against the Dodgers. And Bob, I'm stunned, frankly, little punch drunk about the whole situation because it was unexpected for me. I mean, you might have called it, but I figured 1-1 would be a phenomenal way to come back to Phoenix, but 2-0 and the way they did it, I'm blown away, Bob. So I want to talk about game one.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on game one? I mean, how did this thing start? Because we're talking before the game, we talked a little bit during the game. What about game one?
Well, game one was over in the very first inning. I mean, Kershaw gives up, what was it, 6 runs with 1 out. That was it. That's all he got.
Yeah.
They had scored 5 runs without an out being recorded.
Yeah.
Kershaw didn't know what the heck hit him. And listen, I'm going to say it the way it is. Kershaw has never been a good playoff pitcher, ever in his career.
Yeah.
And I talked to some people in LA after this game, and they say this guy should retire. He should be gone. Get him off the team. Now here's a guy who, of course, has been playing for many years, has been really great, but the fans know that he's not a good playoff pitcher, and he proved it once again. And the Diamondbacks had a great game plan, and I think you have to credit, well, not only the players that go out and do this, but the manager and the coaches that prepare these guys to go into battle and to set that battle plan.
Yeah, 100%. No, the D-backs came out, and again with Clayton Kershaw on the hill with his history against the D-backs, you're thinking, okay, well, a little bit of the same, maybe, who knows? But with a game plan, there's a possibility. And I thought, lay off the junk, make him throw those for strikes, make and hit his fastball. Well, I'm not a prognosticator. All I can say is that the game demands, in some cases, requires some strategy. And in this case, I think that the D-backs showed great plate discipline. And with all due respect to Clayton Kershaw, who is a Hall of Famer, first ballot,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
phenomenal. Clayton
Right.
Kershaw, hats off, sir. I'm sorry that it ended that way for you in a way, because it's tough to see a great pitcher go out that way, and it may be his last game. We'll see. But at the same time, I'm proud of the way the D-backs handled it, because they stepped up the first 5 guys and they scored 5 runs, 5 batters, 5 runs.
Right.
I go to get a drink, I come back and it's 5-0. I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness, what are we watching here? And it didn't stop. And frankly,
Right.
I think what I was told was that the hits were 115 miles an hour from Marte, 109,
Right.
105, and then 110. Those were some solid shots off of Kershaw, whether it be a fastball, curveball, slider, whatever he was throwing. The D-backs are sitting back on it and just driving the baseball.
And Gabby, again, the heart and soul of the team, with that 3-run shot in the first inning.
No doubter. No doubter. I mean, he knew it right away. And I thought it might be foul the way he reacted. No, that thing was launched into the D-backs have some, Bob, I'm going to say it. The D-backs have enough power to win a game 11-2 against a really good team. And they proved that in game one of the NLDS. They overpowered. They used her speed and obviously some solid pitching. Merrill Kelly, hats off. What a phenomenal game.
Yeah, absolutely. He pitched great, and let's just say this: basically, that whole bullpen has been pitching so far in the playoffs really good, and they were the last month of the season as well.
Yeah.
And you know, what I said before the playoffs start, I said you got a young team out there. I don't know if you remember what I said. I said, Strami needs to uh, settle these guys down. And I'm talking pretty much the bullpen and Fott that night. He did give up 3 runs in his last outing. Now, have you heard right now who the starting pitcher is for Game 3? Is it Fott?
Bob, I can say this morning after doing a little research, no, that right now it's being kept. I'm sure
TBD?
it's no secret. It's no secret. It's probably going to be Fat. I think that there's a combination just waiting to happen, which is Fat and Ryan Nelson, Jarvis, a bullpen game essentially. But you got players that have started games for you somewhere in the 162 that have some practical experience. With that being said, I think that there's an opportunity for these 3 young pitchers, those that I just named, to get them into the 7th, 8th, where Castro, Ginkle, and Seawald can come in and close her up. But at the same time, it's going to take a solid effort by Fat because if it is him, he gives up some long balls, and the Dodgers
Right.
are to me anyway. When you put a really good team, or in some cases even a cat, for example, or a dog, God forbid, in a corner, they're probably going to want to fight their way out of it. And right now, the Dodgers are in a corner, and
Right.
their season is on the line. And how are they going to respond to that? Who knows? Come out swinging, looking for pitches that are a little bit in their zone, and before you know it, it's the script has flipped on us. But we're not going to see that. My thoughts are that just like everything else, the D-backs are, including Fat and Ryan Nelson and Jarvis and the rest of them, are playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, like Torey Lovello said. And they're going to come into the game prepared. They're professionals. And I think that this is the time of the year that they have maybe digressed a little bit in their thought process and realized that those 162 were leading up to this. This
Right.
is why we play 162. Not so that we can be tired going into this, so that we can be prepared mentally to give 100% on every single play. And when you do that, you go up 2-0 on the Dodgers. Not done yet. Best of 5. We got 2 games in Phoenix, possibly 1. This is a golden opportunity for the D-backs to do something that hasn't been done in a long time. So,
And remember what I said even before these playoffs, that the Diamondbacks are a very young team, and I still said I think they got a lot of gas in that tank.
Yeah.
Now you're playing a veteran team that I think it's just my observation. They look a little bit tired.
Yeah.
They to me that's what they look like. They look like these Diamondbacks still have the energy. Even guys like Tommy Pham, I think some of the young attitudes have rubbed off on some of the older players on the team.
Yeah.
Look what Longoria has done in this series, what he's done in the previous series. It's really fun, but the pitching has been phenomenal. Now, I guess we'll go to, game 1 was that blowout. It was a blowout. That was it. That was it. It was done in the first inning. It was done. Once they had 6 runs, forget it. They're not coming back.
I watched the rest of the game, but it was all intents and purposes done. Game 2, though. But what'd you see?
More competitive. And I don't know if I said this to you, but I think I said it to my friend yesterday in LA. I said, they've got a rookie pitcher going against them. I don't know how he's going to start out. I think that the big lights might get to him. And absolutely, first inning, 3 runs.
Yeah.
And right there, again, the Diamondbacks punched him in the mouth. They didn't hit the home runs in this game. Yeah, Gurriel hit the one later in the game that gave that little bit of cushion.
Yeah.
But the thing is they did it on base running. They did it on hits on sacrifice flies, right? And this was a typical, to me, almost a typical game that we saw this young Diamondbacks play the whole year. The only thing that's even better is the pitching was good. Saul Frank was a little bit off, but he did get a big out. Thompson is incredible. I,
Incredible.
I don't know how the Rays could ever have let this guy go, but I'm sure glad that we have him,
No,
because what we saw, and I remember when we first saw him pitch at Chase Field, I believe that you and I both said it. All it looks like arms and legs coming at you because
there's
the
the
guy is
ball.
so tall. Yeah, and but the pitching has been phenomenal.
Yeah, no.
Gallen, of course, was great. That strikeout that he that he that he had on Freddie
Freeman.
Freeman. Oh my God, Freeman didn't know what the heck hit him. He throws him that curveball
Wow.
center cut. I
I
mean,
mean, right over the plate.
yeah,
He
he
couldn't have
wasn't
been expecting that,
expecting it.
man. No
He was
way.
expecting a fastball. He was sitting on a fastball. That ball came.
Whoop.
It literally froze him.
No kidding, man. Hey, Bob, look, what I'm seeing here, I'm gonna game two is phenomenal, very, very solid baseball game. But again, I'm
Yeah,
gonna dive into a couple of talking points. One of them being that you noticed that the Dodgers look a little tired, and I see that as well. But who wouldn't be? Let's contrast what they did in game one, which is power early, and then
right.
to game two, you get a walk, you get a bunt for a base hit, you get a base hit, bases loaded, you get a sacrifice fly to center field, you get another base
Great
hit.
catch, by the way, by Altman.
Oh, phenomenal catch against the wall. I mean, could have been a home run, obviously, a little bit more, but it wasn't. But the bottom line is they manufactured 3 runs in the first inning, and you and I didn't know it at the time,
Right.
but that's all they needed. That was it. The game was over again in the first inning because of the solid pitching and the solid defense. But the D-backs played the game the way they played the first inning throughout. I think Perdomo's sacrifice bunts were huge. I think
Yes.
I think just the overall speed of the game changed yesterday, and I think that the Dodgers got a dose of both the power and the speed, and a combination of both on any given night. You don't know which one you're going to have to beat, and God forbid you have to beat the power, because that's just a no-brainer. When the D-backs hitting home runs, I think they're going to win most of the time, but they can still win a game by doing the things that the baseball gods appreciate, which are the small details that the analytics don't necessarily get to share with you. It's the physical element, putting that ball down in a close game, moving base runners, hitting that sacrifice fly, being happy with making great defensive plays. Christian Walker was like a vacuum cleaner yesterday.
Right.
He even fooled Gallen, and Gallen's one of the best players getting over to first base. But in the very first inning of this game, Muncy hit it down the line, and Walker makes this crazy play, of course. And of course, Gallen but at the end of the day, those are just things that stand out to me, to notice that the D-backs can win with power and they can win with speed, and they're coming home.
And they can win with defense.
Their pitching is pretty solid. I mean, short of the 2 starters that have already pitched, there's the little skepticism with the D-backs and some, but at the same time, if the D-backs can provide some offense to those same pitchers, I think a combination of Fat, Jarvis, and Ryan Nelson can get it done through the 7 innings that are required. Get a guy like Ginkel in there, or Castro in the 7th, Ginkel in the 8th, and then Sewell in the 9th. Like I said, what a recipe for going on to the NLDS. I don't want to get too far, because when we first started doing this spring, I'm thinking, okay, going to be a phenomenal season, but look where we're going. You and I are going to Chase Field. We're going to the NLDS Game 3 to report live. Not necessarily live.
In front of a sold-out crowd.
48,000 people, man.
48,000 people will be in that stadium. Maybe more with standing room. And now I know that a number of Dodgers fans have bought tickets, but they're not going to outnumber the Diamondbacks fans this game.
There's a good energy right now, Bob. I wake up and I feel it already. It's just, again, I'm not going to go as far as saying that the D-backs have fickle fans, or maybe some fair weather fans here in the Valley. Well, I don't care what it is. This is the time to support the team. They need the support. I think they would appreciate it. They don't necessarily need. They've been winning on the road, which they've done all year. But it would be nice to have a overwhelmingly D-back friendly crowd at Chase Field. You and I have been to the games where there's been 41,000 fans. The D-backs have laid eggs, but there have been 20,000 fans from the other team there to offset some of the noise. I want to hear nothing but noise, and I want to be able. I'm going to take some earplugs because I've got to write a story while we're talking about this and while we're watching the game. So I mean, I'm going to probably take some earplugs. I'm hoping for. I'm looking forward to a special night. I can't wait. It's going to be with you. We're going to have for Tysonomo Media. We're going to be there both. If they play two games, both games for the press conferences on field. We're going to do some reporting about the games. We're not going to talk too much about it. We're going to take the audience into the nooks and crannies of the event that maybe the other outfits aren't able to cover. That's what we're going to do.
And not only that, let's say if they win this series, and I still want to say it that way.
Yeah.
We will be there for the league championship series and the World Series if it gets that far.
100%. We've proud members of the D-backs media group that goes and covers the team's credentialed group. A lot of our friends will be there, and it's been, for me anyway, a 2-year ride that has culminated so far into what it's been, but I'm looking forward to what's coming. I don't know too much about that. You've been there. You've been around long enough to see some of these things, and I'm grateful to take this ride along with you, Bob, because frankly, I'm a reporter, and I want to be able to separate myself, but it's hard to. I'm a fan. Grew up in Phoenix, love baseball. Hard to be able to not root for your hometown team, but I'll do my best to report non-subjectively. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to giving the audience some of the insights that maybe they're not getting other places. But I encourage them to go to MLB.com. MLB, Steve Gilbert does a phenomenal job. Bob Nightingale with USA Today. Barry with Forbes. I mean, they're all doing some phenomenal work. Yeah, Sportico, there you go.
Barry says Sportico.
Sportico, he was a guest of ours. And, I just think that it's their time to shine as well. I encourage folks to support all the you can when it comes to, reading about what's going on, because there's a lot of hard work going into it. So, Bob, I can't wait to see you, man. Tomorrow.
I'll definitely see you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I guess the biggest thing tomorrow that I'm really looking forward to, I'm looking forward to those Diamondbacks running out on the field, and they're getting cheered by 48,000 fans who just want to go crazy at the end of the night.
Oh man, again, it's Monday for me. It's a Monday because it's after a busy day. I know it's not literally Monday, but it is actually. But my feeling is that the D-backs have an opportunity to do something really special, Bob. And I don't want to get too far into it because it really excites me, gets my blood pressure up a little bit. So I'm going to hold off until the game starts because the two games have really drained me. But go D-backs, come out and support them. We'll be there to report, and I'm looking forward to it. So until we see you again, you want to sign off, Bob?
I will. Well, everybody, this has been a special edition of D-backs Weekly Inside the Game podcast, and we look forward to you being out at Chase Field, or at least watching on TV. For Brian Cano Sr., I'm Bob Kingpin Eres. Stay safe, everybody.